So what you're about to see is my friend's motor swap for his Rocky 50 or 49, Amstar Rocky 49. It's basically a Chinese scooter. It's relatively similar to, I believe, a Honda Trails from back in the 60s. It's basically a Chinese copy running what is a 49cc semi-automatic Lifan motor or something around that. Anyway, so he got a 125cc Lifan manual motor online, and we swapped it in. So the first part of the video where we are pulling the old 49cc motor out is gone because this video was actually recorded several months ago. It's been recorded so long ago that you can tell how old the video is based off of how long my hair is now compared to the rest of the footage. So it'll make sense. Not a continuity area apparently. So anyway, pulling the motor out, extremely simple. 2 bolts out, drop the whole thing, disconnect some lines. Very easy. One thing to remember is taking off the sprocket is something you want to do first before you drop the motor. Popping the motor in, also pretty simple. 2 bolts in, need to widen some stuff, just use some leverage, be all manly and tough, pop it in there. Use an uprated fuel line, very important, and then stick it back in there. The hardest part was actually putting the chain back on the sprocket, tuning the carburetor, and then having to find a way to get the clutch to work. Because this bike that it is going into is actually a semi-automatic bike, which is now getting a clutch lever and a shifty pedal, because shifty pedals are awesome. Anyway, just watch through. I'll try and edit in and add as much information as I can to help you out and figure it out. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. Steven or myself will be more than happy to answer it if you are doing a similar swap on your bike. I know a lot of guys do the same swap on the older Honda Cubs and other mopeds and things. It is super easy, it's still reliable. The bike has been running for a few hundred miles now. Its break-in period was actually a massive ride out called Mini Moto Takeover here in Vegas, and the bike did very well, I must admit.
Alright, so this is next night or essentially part 2 of doing the engine swap on the Rocky. So first we're going to go ahead and install the carb. Got to make sure everything fits well on the bike and essentially rewiring it. Plumbing, we're probably going to upgrade the fuel line because the one currently in the bike is horrible from factory. It's very small diameter. And hopefully I can do the run-in or the break-in of tonight. And hopefully bring it back home. So essentially, we're going to have a new bike.
You want
by tonight.
You want to tell them the good news about the engine size and everything?
Good news, it's smaller.
Right? Like, how that is so trippy. It's less transmission size and more.
It's more your size of Grom.
Yeah, it's pretty much the Grom motor. Like it's the same head or style as the Grom engine. It really is.
And everything goes well. Essentially, if I don't have to use the wiring that I ordered with, we're actually going to have a future project with the ATV that he has.
Oh yeah, I have a broken ATV.
Yeah. That we can use the wiring harnesses this kit came with, and we can essentially make his ATV run as well. Alright guys, start his build again.
I guess step 1, we get the motor over on this side so we can position it in. Or do you want to put the carburetor on it first?
I wish I had a little table. Like a table? Or something we can just mount the engine on top real quick. That cooler could work.
Okay, let's do that.
One thing I want to check before we do that, exits are the same.
The holes and everything on the bottom too match?
But more important about the exit, because if I can't run my that, it's okay. I'll buy some plates. By the way,
Oh, this is light.
yeah.
Whoa. Dude, I wasn't expecting that, not gonna lie. So that's your intake manifold?
Yeah. I don't know if it goes in like this.
Well, you could set it the same way you had the Rocky one set up.
No, this is essentially what I'm going to do.
Yeah?
Okay, that goes like this. In case you're assembling this engine and have no idea what this rubber ring is for, it's essentially for the plastic gasket that goes between manifold and the carburetor. I don't know why they included 2, but hopefully it just makes it seal better. Oh, no, it's just about taking pictures, right?
No, it's a videography class, so it's like camera movement and stuff.
Still a lot, right?
It is. It's way too much, to be honest with you. Honestly, that CDI logo just looks so sick. I know I keep saying it over and over, but
I
damn.
think a lot of people delete it, but it's fine for me. It'll work as long as it kind of covers the chain.
Right?
Alright, so the next part, we're just going to mount the motor onto the bike. Should be as simple as 2 and 3. Okay. Alright. Thank you very much. You alright?
Yeah.
They didn't squish your hand?
Nope.
Okay.
As long as the motor's safe, that's all that matters. Why is the fuel line so far up?
Because we were turning. Wait. You know what?
Yeah?
Should we buy the line first before doing this?
Yeah, we should actually.
Let's do that.
So now we're putting a fuel filter in there? Or no, bigger fuel line.
Yeah, better fuel line, because watch this. That hard to take off.
Yeah, the fuel line of this thing's only like a year old, but it's pretty well toasted. And now we're replacing it with a much thicker AutoZone cell fuel line, which is
Which
pretty
is
beast.
an upgrade. I mean,
You know things are bad when AutoZone is an upgrade.
pretty much.
But anyway, so what's going on is Steven is putting on the kickstart
Yep.
and all the ancillary stuff. He's already got the throttle line hooked up, or throttle top hat thing hooked up, so we should put the carb on there.
You got a good point.
Bigger fuel line is on. What good point?
You take off the whole screw.
Oh, it just went right in? Well, yeah, you're just mounting up all the ancillaries and accessories. And once those are done, just 2 bolts, stick the engine on, and enjoy that 125cc big power goodness.
Yeah, let's see, by 1 hour we should have this engine already kicking over.
Yeah, 1 hour.
1 hour.
Okay, so we're going to use the same coil, same CDI.
Mm-hmm.
Just plop the motor in there and put the screws through it.
Yeah, that's it.
You want to put the chain on first, or?
Yeah, I mean, we got a mountain on.
But the chain is lined up on the sprocket.
Yeah, it's on.
Owie.
You okay?
Squished me pinky. I had like a baby moment right there.
Who knew that an engine installation would be this difficult?
I think everybody. The bolt is in on one side. Look at it from here.
Uh-huh.
All we do is line up the bolt with that hole and shove it through.
But I think it's the chain. You said the sprocket's bigger, right?
Yeah.
So it's more tighter.
Like,
Dude, it's 100%. Like, feel it? Feel the chain?
it's maxed out. Okay, then loosen that off then.
Yeah, side to side, dude.
Okay, one bolt is through.
Now at this point, we actually don't have the footage of us sticking the motor in. But again, 2 bolts, pop it in there, very easy. We did try kicking it over. We did have some issues with how long the Kickstarter was. So the Kickstarter that came with this motor was actually a little bit too shallow because it did have to clear the exhaust pipe on this bike. The Kickstarter that was on the motor that came on the bike was the one we ended up using because it had a bit of a detent to it, so where it goes in and then bolts in, so he can get the full range of motion for kickstarting, which is very important because this bike does not have electric start. It greatly simplifies the electrical system on the bike, but makes it a little bit harder to get going for the first time.
Okay, so being that this bike didn't originally have a clutch lever, there are some clearancing issues in terms of getting this mirror mount, this switches, and the handlebar all at the same time. So what we ended up doing is getting a clutch that has a very pronounced extension and the integrated mirror mount as well. So we're going to pull off the old mirror mount, put the clutch in right here before that. That way it should give us the proper clearances without any issues. We also had to get a very particular center adjustable clutch cable to make sure that we cleared everything. So I'm going to take off this mirror mount, push this further back, and place the clutch cable right on the inboard side in between these two. That should help us out with our clearancing issues.
Let's do it. Oh, I turned off the ignition switch, by the way.
Oh, no, yeah. Have it back on.
Okay, so now it's a first kick bike. I think he just had to get the fuel and the carb.
Let's see.
For those of you who don't know, he kicked it like 10,000 times before it actually started. The timing is off.
Timing's off?
Yeah.
I know the perfect solution.
What's that?
Change the CDI.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Came with the kit. Hopefully this fixes it.
Yeah, it's either the air fuel mixer's off or the CDI. So let's hope the CDI does it. Well, yeah, you have the aftermarket race CDI, right?
No, it's another one. It's the one I got to have to run with the engine, but maybe this engine requires a different CDI.
You know what's crazy? It actually smells like the go-karts from Disneyland.
Because it could be.
Those Tomorrowland ones.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually swapping those over to electric, which makes sense.
No, more torque, more fun.
Well, that was Tomorrowland.
Because it is Tomorrowland. Oh, I don't need one because I already has one on. Actually, I have to change this out real quick. Give me 1 sec.
Go for it. Go for it.
Oh, just 1 second.
Is that a little bit better or no?
Well, it's not sputtering.
I'm telling you, that idle adjustment screw's got to go down hard. Oh shit! It's spitting flames and everything.
From where?
The carb. It's backfiring like crazy. Ready?
You know what this part's called?
No idea.
Well,
Well, it's probably called like a plunger or something.
plunger or the slider. Basically, the part that has the needle in. So basically, inside this needle, there's 5 notches. Could be different from most other carbs, but in order to adjust your air-fuel ratio, the lower you go, the more fuel gets in the carb. So if you're having high-rich fuel ratio, you basically just, there's a little C-ring as well inside. All you have to do is just move it up a couple notches and that'll adjust your fuel ratio if it's not working down here. Alright, let's see.
Let's hope that fixes the backfiring issue.
Should.
Oh, I saw the way you pulled your leg back. You were like, nope, not today.
That's kick hard, dude.
Oh, I believe you. 1 million kicks later.
Oh, good. Does it want us to kick over or not?
Kinda,
I guess.
I smell fuel, so. Maybe not. Doesn't have enough fuel.
No! That might be the case, actually. Alright, at least we know how to adjust it.
Right. A lot less backfiring this time.
So, we did fix that, but it's not even too high.
So let's just mess with the idle adjustment screw and lower it.
Alright, we gotta bring it all the way in.
Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the video and this whole late night editing thing. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to see some more stuff, hit subscribe. If you want to see the bike running, there's actually a video on my channel called Mini Moto Takeover 2019. You can actually see the bike running after the motor swap in that video. It runs great. He's still riding it today. All in all, I definitely recommend doing this swap if you want to get more power out of your 49cc bike and make it 125cc, because 49cc is too slow to be safe. And you can see my whole screen in my glasses. Wow, okay.